Hey there, my name is Kelly Dale with Off the Beaded Path, and today I want to show you one of my absolute new favorite designs. And I have to tell you, this has to be one of my favorite rings that I have ever made in the history of my beadwork. For this design today, we're going to be using Nib Bit Beads, and I'll show you what those look like. At the time of this recorded video, they only make one size of a Nib Bit bead, and it is a 6x5 millimeter. So that is the size that I'm going to be using today. You're only going to need 8 of those. You're going to need a 14 millimeter Rivoli. You're going to need 8 mini duos, not the regular super duos, but a mini one. You're going to need just a few size 11 seed beads, a gram of a size 15 seed bead, and some 3 millimeter rounds for the ring base itself. You're also going to need a size 12 beading needle with a yard of thread. If you're using Fireline, I would not go over a 6-pound Fireline. I'm going to be using the 1G for my project. And you're going to need about 12 inches of a 0.5 millimeter stretch magic. So go ahead and get your materials together and we'll get started. Here's the ring that I'm going to show you how to make today. This one is the Metallust Hot Pink in the Nib Bit bead with the Paradise Shine for my Rivoli. The one I'm going to show you today, I'm going to be using the Ultra Lime for my actual Rivoli, and going to be using the Metallust Sour Apple nib bits and a mini duo in the silver. Okay, so to start out, you're only going to be using your 11s and your nib bits. So you're going to pick up an 11 and the slender end of the nib bit. It has 2 holes, as you can see, so you want that slender hole side. And you're just going to continue picking up an 11 and a nib bit 8 times. So when you have all 8 of these, you are going to let them drop down and just leave yourself a little short tail here. So you got 2, 4, 6, 8, and I started with an 11 and ended with the nib. And I'm going to go back through all of those beads one more time. And as I go back through, I'm going to go through the holes of the nib bits that I've already been through. Now you could get a good many of these going through one get round, but if not, just pull that on through and finish going through your beads. So when you get back to where the tail is, that little short tail, you're going to tie these 2 threads together. And be sure, get you some good knots in here, and then we're going to go through these beads one more time. Okay, so go through these beads one more time and then exit any of the nib bit. I've gone ahead and gotten rid of the tail now that I've gone through the beads one more time, and I'm exiting a nib bit. Now I'm going to take the needle and I'm going to step up through my beads by coming through the second hole of the nib bit, and I'm going to go in the opposite direction. So I was going this way, so now I'm going to be going this way. Pick up a mini duo, go through the open hole of the next nib bit. And you're going to do this all the way around. Just picking up a mini duo and going through the next nib bit. Now once you add all of these, go through them again. Okay, so once you go through them all again and then exit any mini duo. If you've done what I told you to and you went through the beads again, your nib bits will be pulled up at an angle, and that's exactly what you want them to do. If you didn't do what I just told you to do, the piece will still be flat, and you don't want that. So I'm coming out of a mini duo And again, I'm going to step up by going through the top hole of the duo, and I'm going to go in the opposite direction. Now, here comes the part where you're going to be using your 15s. So my 15s for this is I'm just going to be using a Miyuki seed bead in a green. Now this is very, 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 very important. Don't know how many more times I can say it. For your 15s, you must use a Miyuki brand seed bead or this will not work. Believe Kelly, I have tried. Okay. Tried using Toho's and it makes the encasement too big. So you're going to want a Miyuki 15, an 11, and a 15. And you are going to go through the next open hole of the mini duo. Now when you do that, you'll want to pull the thread so that it pops these mini duos up like this. But you do not want to pull that thread tight yet, because we're going to put our Rivoli in, but we want to go ahead and just kind of get the structure going. So you're just going to put in your beads, not pulling these tight. On the size 11 seed beads, it doesn't matter whether you use a Miyuki or a Toho brand bead, but it definitely makes a difference on those 15s. Alright, so as you can see, we're making progress here. Alright, once you get back to the first one, aka where you started, go through the mini duo, and it's okay if you go ahead and go through those seed beads there, but you are going to lay your Rivoli in face down and then get it centered and pull that thread tight. And when you do, that is what it's going to do. It's going to hold that Rivoli in place. Now go through all these beads one more time, pulling the thread very nice and tight, because this row is what's going to initially help hold this Rivoli in place as we work the next few rows. Once you've gone all the way around, you'll want to exit any size 11 seed bead along the back edge. Thread on 5 15s. And go through the next size 11 seed beads. You're going to skip all of this and then go through the seed bead, and those new seed beads will lay down on the back of the encasement. And you're going to do this all the way around, picking up 5 and then going through the next size 11 seed bead. Now once you've gone all the way around, you're going to step up through the first 3 15s that you added in this first set of 5. Now that I've gone all the way around, as you can see, I am coming out of the first 3 15s that I added in that first set of 5. Now you want to pick up 2 15s and go through the middle 15 of the next set of 5. So it's going to be that point bead of the next set of 5, and when you pull that, you can see that it's going to make those beads laid, or those little loops that you've made, lay down. So 2 15s and go through the middle, then 2 15s, go through the middle, 2 15s. We're going to do this all the way around, and when I get back around, I'm going to go through the first 2 15s that I added in this little round here. And this is what I was saying with the Toho seed beads. If you use those, when you get to this point, the encasement is going to be too large. Large and lumpy is how I would say it. Alright, so here's your encasement thus far. you're coming out of the first 2 seed beads that you added in the round, and you want to pick up 115 and go through the next set of 2 that you added. Okay, 115, and then go through the 2. You're going to do this all the way around, and when you get back around, be sure and come out of that first 15 that you added. All the way around, and I'm coming out of the first 15 that I added in this round. So now we're going to work another round, picking up 115, and then going through the next 15 that's sticking up from the previous round. So we're going to be adding 8, 11, or 8, 15 total. So just 115, go through the next 15. 115, go through the next 15. You're going to do this all the way around and step up through the first 15 that we added in this so we're getting ready for the last round. I've stepped up through the first 15 that I added. I'm going to pick up 115, and now this time I'm going to go through the next 2 15s that are sticking up. So we're doing a decrease now. So 115 and go through 2 15s. So in this round we're only actually going to be adding 4 15s. So that when you get back to the beginning, you're going to step up through the first 15 that you added in the round. And then you're going to go through the 4 15s. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to go through those 4 15s that you just added, and you're going to pull that together. And this will completely close up the back of the ring for you. And you definitely want to do this. I have so many people who want to skip these steps, but these steps are detrimental for the life of your Rivoli. This will help you be able to wear it so much longer because it'll be covered up against your oils and lotions on your finger. So I've got that now completed. And we are ready to add the ring band shanks. So if you look on your rows, we had our row of 5 here. Then the next row was a row of 2. So you can see, let me get my little awl pointer here. You can see you have these 2 beads on top of each other. And then you have 2 beads on each side of that. Basically, I want to exit a row of 2, 1, and 2. And it doesn't matter if you do 2, 1, and 2 or 2, 1, and 2. But you want to exit 5 beads here. So I'm coming out in this direction. So I'm going to stitch down through my beads so that I can come out. Here's my row of 2 that are sitting on top of each other. So I'm going to go through 2, 1, and 2. 2, 1, and 2. And this is where I'm going to start the little ring band. So I'm just going to stitch down through the beads to get there. Alright, so here are my 2. My 1 can either be the one here or here, it doesn't matter. And then 2. Alright, so 2, 1, 2. And let me get me some more 15s here if I can find those. Okay, hang on guys, I gotta find 15s. So I'm picking up 2 15s, a 3mm, and 2 15s. And I'm gonna come back through the 5 beads here that I had for my ring band. So I'm gonna come through 2. And it's a little, there we go. And see what I can do is I can go ahead and pull this through just a little bit. There we go. And then I'll go through my 1. And then I'll go through my 2 here. So when you pull that, it gives you the little loop here for your ring shank, and you want to reinforce this and then stitch around to the opposite side. So I'll come through 2, 1, and 2 right here, this little section, and I'm going to do the same thing and then tie off. So once you have the threads tied off, you're ready to start the actual ring band. I'm using my Stretch Magic, and I've centered it on one of the 3mm here for the ring shank. To make the ring band is very, very simple. You're going to be using your 3mm rounds, and you're going to start off with 1 bead on each side, and you're going to let those fall. Then on one side, you're going to pick up 1 3mm, and I kind of put it over my finger like this, and then I take the other thread and go through it in the opposite direction, so that when I pull, that gives me a little box of what we call right angle weave. So again, it is a 3mm onto each side, and then on one side I'm going to pick up 1 3mm, and I'm going to cross the threads opposite ways through that 1 bead. And now that gives me 2 little boxes. Now you're going to continue to do this little right angle weave little stitch that I showed you until you reach the desired length. Be sure to end with 1 3mm onto each thread. So I have the ring band, and here you can see I've ended with 1 3mm onto each side. Now you'll want to take 1 thread, and you're going to go through the 3mm on the other ring shank. Now I will tell you that it's tight. The thread is very tight in there. So what I do is I take my tulip awl and I stick it through one side so that now you can see it's easier to get that thread through as I pull. So now I'm just going to take these 2 threads, tie these into a knot, and be careful not to get any of your little 3mm beads there caught up in the knot. And I'm going to put a couple of just double little knots in here. Don't be scared of this. Pull your threads nice and tight. If it's going to break, you want it to break on you and not somebody who's going to be wearing it. So I'm going to go trim those threads. And now I have a really pretty new double daisy ring. Now this is the green, again, the Metalust Sour Apple, I think it's called. And then here is a blue version that I've done. And then my favorite version is the Metalust Pink. So as you can see, they're really fun, bright colors, especially for the rest of the summer season that we're going into. So guys, I hope that you enjoy this ring as much as I enjoy it. I have been wearing this pink one ever since I made it, and as you can see, it doesn't go with anything I have on, but I don't care. I love it. So we do have the pattern and all 3 color kits available on my website, which is offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com, as well as the Nib Bit Beads. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.